But how did the system get to the point where they have private prisons?
They'll just move. What I'm saying is this, right? This is how I believe America. They'll move the goalpost. So if everyone stops committing this crime, they'll say, well, that's a crime then.
Yeah.
And if that's not a crime, then this is a crime. See, no matter what, they're going to say some shit's a crime.
But here's the thing about that, though. Okay? The biggest problem that we have in our communities is that a large majority of people in our community do not stand up for things that aren't major. Okay? A black person gets killed by the police, it starts turning to a major thing.
Okay.
They start to vote, oh, we're going to close this park. Ain't nobody cared about it. Ain't no one out there outraged speaking about, oh, they about to close down this park.
I see where you're coming from.
So in our communities, if we started speaking out on the small things, those big things, okay, they ain't going to be able to mess with those because, wait a minute, hold on. These group of people in this community are going to speak out about it.
Do you actually think, because I've seen like the little town hall meetings, city hall meetings, where these are people that come out and speak out on things like that.
I hate those.
But do you really think that like the lawmakers give a fuck? In the black community, because we don't own the community.
And that is part of the problem.
Okay.
Because back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, black people owned their businesses in their communities. At some point, we got to...
certain communities.
At some point, we got to a point where we started this...
Now you talking my shit. Yeah.
Or...
I'm going to walk you into
yeah. Or just flat out, we ain't going to support you, or we are jealous of the fact that you own this, you own that. So therefore, we start hating on each other.
So wait, so you are pro-segregation? Because that's what changed.
Oh, shut the fuck
No,
up.
I'm not.
See, I don't want to go there. They don't want to go there.
I'm not.
Nobody want to fucking go there.
Elle believes in segregation.
But you pro-separation?
I'm not pro-segregation, and I'm not pro-separation. What I am about is this: is that the same way how you can go into certain communities, and the people in those communities own the different businesses there. The same thing can happen in our communities. Now, I'm not saying
that's
that
separation. Then
no. I'm not saying that you can't take some of our businesses and put them in other communities. I'm not saying you can't do that.
No, but you can't do that.
Why?
I want you to go try. Like you want to start your gun company, right? I want you to go try to put it in Chinatown and see what happens.
Well, see, here's the thing about that. This is the biggest thing.
Why y'all put them in a game?
That's what I mean by separation, separatism.
No,
not so much segregation, but why can't we have a little Africa or an Africa town like they got a Chinatown, right? Everything in here is African, and you can't put no shit in here unless you get approval from us, the community.
We don't have a gang.
Anybody can start any business in our fucking community, but we can't do it in theirs.
Because we do not have a gang big enough, and you know that.
Because
that's separation.
You know, China is
you know what I'm
saying?
But
Here's the thing. Because those people in those communities have representatives, and they say, hold on, we don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that. We don't have representatives at those seats, those things.
Okay. And the issue in America is you are not allowed to have representation as a black man.
Yes, you are.
If you try, they would kill you.
No, it's not true.
Okay, that's what happened to Fred Hampton. He thought the same thing, and they killed him. That's what happened to Malcolm X. He thought that, and they killed him. Dr. King, he thought it too, and they killed him. All the leaders thought that they could be the leader in this community, be the representative, and guess what? You're called a black messiah at that point.
It's all about this, okay? It's all about what it is you're trying to do and how large you're trying to make it. Okay?
I just want to make an equal playing field.
It's never going to be an equal playing field.
Why?
Because this is America. At the end of the day, there's certain things.
Now you're talking my spicy shit. That's what I said.
At the end of the day, we all know that it's not always going to be fair. But that's just the world. The world isn't fair. And throughout history, it's always been one group of people has always dominated over another. That's just how civilizations have gone for over thousands of years.
I think that's what ultimately I would like to change. Ultimately,
the only way to change that is to change the heart of the people.
Right. You have to stop. And I always said you just have to stop telling people there's a such thing as race. Like, that shouldn't be a question. Are you black? Are you white? There's no such thing as race. Stop telling people there's such a race. It's just one race. It's human race. That's it. Everybody's human.
I
think that gets rid of that thought process of I gotta be. People like to just be separate. They like to be different. So any way I could think of a way to be different, whether it's religion, it's race, it's this, I gotta figure out how I could be different from you.
Well, I take this thing as an example. Okay, me personally, I love Star Trek. Okay, I'm a Trekkie, huge Trekkie. Okay, and one thing about Star Trek is that they had the Federation. Okay, which is basically a bunch of planets where the people on the planets all come together to decide that they're going to explore and do science. Okay. Now, how it all started, one group of people reached out, met some aliens. It's a lot of distrust, a lot of I'm better than you superiority going on. Mm-hmm. And it started with the Vulcans, highly intelligent group of people, very sophisticated. They were very upset with humans due to the fact that we were able to tame what they call our wildness. Our racism, wars, all stopped and ended. It took them thousands of years to reach that point. It only took us a few hundred to get there. The whole system of I need to do this to be better than you.
We still ain't there, so
is gone. One of the beautiful things that I like about the show, no matter how they do it, is that you always have conflicts with different people because they're different species. They're all humanoids, but they're different species. And once they start to see, okay, these differences don't necessarily mean that you're a bad person. Okay, now you're part of the group.
I get it.
And if we do that here, where we stop seeing all of our differences and just start saying, I just want you to be part of the group.
We won't see it.
We can see it.
No, we can't.
We can see it.
I don't think so.
The thing that needs to happen is this. We need to get rid of the biggest thing that causes people to want to have more.
Capitalism?
Bingo.
You can't get rid of capitalism.
You can.
You know why you can't?
Why?
Because if you tried, they'd kill you.
That may be true. I agree with you on that one.
Niggas started whole wars just because one country said, I'm socialist, I'm communist, right? That's what the Vietnam War was. Yeah. Vietnam said, hey, we want to be socialists, right? We want to be communists. The Korean War, same thing. And niggas like, Cuba, right? All Cuba said is, we're a socialist country. And they said, embargo, right? You can't be socialist. You can't say that you're anything other than capitalist. Otherwise, the Western world will stop fucking with you, and they might just blow you the fuck up.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, they ain't going to just blow you up.
Oh, yeah.
However, they will make it difficult. That's just facts. They're going to make it difficult for you.
Listen,
okay?
If you ain't got nobody backing you like Russia or some shit that got nukes, they going to blow you the fuck up and take your shit.
But every country got someone backing them. There's not a country in this world that's not backed by a major power. Because that's how Cold Wars are.
Okay.
There are Cold Wars all the time.
I get where you coming from in that. America be fine as shit. They gonna find some niggas to fuck up.
The one thing that you don't know is this. Did you know that the speed limit was brought down after the oil embargo that happened in the 70s? Speed limit used to be higher.
Listen.
Due to the fact they said cars will burn more gasoline if they're going faster, let's lower the speed limit and make cars more fuel efficient.
I don't believe that.
Look it up.
I think that's the reason they said they lowered it, but I think the reason they lowered it is to get niggas more tickets. The fuck you talking about?
It's one hand wash the other.
I mean,
they trying to get that bread.
It's one hand wash the other.
If it was 100 miles, you do 120. You don't speed regardless.
Because I mean, if you go to other countries, like for example in Germany, you can go 100 miles in Germany.
They probably have way less accidents too.
That may be true, but the other thing is, different countries, the speed limit there is different. Population makes a big difference.
They probably don't pull people over for speeding either in Germany.
I mean, I don't know. I can't speak on facts on that. But I do know that their speed limits are not the same here. In fact, that's the reason why when you get by cars from overseas, they have to be tuned to American standards. Yeah. They're supposed to be anyway.
Listen, I'm all about practical laws, man. Even like with driving, I think like a practical law is you over a certain age, you should have to retake your fucking road test.
I do too.
Practical
I don't think so because
it should be two separate road tests.
I can't repass my shit now.
You should have to. You should have to get on the highway to pass the road test. You should have to get on the interstate, or it should be a separate license. If you don't have the license, you can't get on the interstate. If you caught on the interstate, you get a ticket for that because everybody could drive on the little bullshit streets, but don't know how to change the lane on the fucking interstate. You shouldn't have a license.
Don't listen to L.
That should be part of the road test. If you're going to be on the interstate, you should know how to change the lane on it.
You never had to retake the fucking test. If you have to retake the test.
I did have to retake it, actually. I took that shit 3 times. Fuck is you talking about?
I just took mine.
Yeah, I lost my license and had to retake my shit. Fuck you talking about?
Was it challenging?
I ain't
I passed my
In
shit
North
one.
Carolina? I failed my shit. No,
Actually,
I'm not talking
look.
about the driving test part.
The
I'm
written?
talking about the written.
Yeah.
I failed my shit.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
And the crazy thing is, the
And I drive.
North Carolina one asks you fucking questions that ain't got shit to do with fucking driving at all.
I was so confused. I was like, what the fuck?
That's why you're supposed to read the book.
I'm like, I was mad I got them shits mad. I mean, I was mad I got them shits right. Like, what the fuck's wrong with me?
When I took the test when I was 16, I passed right away. This time?
You study like a motherfucker at 16 though. You was in that book all studying like hell. I remember helping you study. For
Yeah,
that
but what really has changed? Nothing should have really changed.
I
right?
guess this, I
Retake
don't
the
know
fucking
what the
test.
signs on the road mean
1
and
+ 1 is 1.
blood
You know what I'm
alcohol
saying?
limit
Fuck.
and all that stupid shit you gotta know. Shit like
I don't
that.
even think that was a question. I was.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing that changes is that when you're first getting something, you don't know. But once you start experiencing it and doing it for a while, certain things you like, I know this because you've been doing it. So you ain't going to go dive back into that. Study as hard as you was when you didn't know
but
nothing at all.
There's a lot of jobs on certifications and things like that that would honor your experience versus your fucking your paper.
Here's
So
the
if
thing.
I've been driving for 13 years, why the fuck do I need to retake something that I've already had X amount of years experience?
I understand what he's talking about, where he's coming from.
Old people.
He's talking about visuals.
I'm talking about old
shit.
people.
Like 65,
I get
because
it.
like I think you should
65.
65. You should be able.
You gotta
to
retake
take
that
the road.
test. Every 5 years, once you hit 65, you gotta retake that shit.
I don't know. I doubt it. The reason why
Bro,
I say that because you
your
have to
all right.
see. You have to.
Love her to death.
You
But your
have
grandmother.
to run the analytics on
Time
it
out.
and how old,
Time out.
how many
Wait.
accidents the
Hold on,
people
wait.
over
Just wait a
65 get.
second.
Like, what is the percentile
I'm gonna tell you.
difference? You
Your-
can't just blankly say
Your
you feel
grandmother.
that
Your
you
grandmother
can't
been
see.
driving for years,
Okay.
right? She got a little older. Her eyes started going, but she was holding on, right? Fighting through it, right? She knew her shit was dwindling. She's like, I got to get to church, right? So she got in her car.
Also,
She went to
she's
church.
never had a license.
Mind you, but she knew how to fucking drive. Don't get
Never had
untwisted,
a
right?
license.
She knew how to drive.
That's my point. She's never had a license, but she knew how to drive.
See, I knew you was gonna
The
pull that
piece of
loophole. I knew she was gonna get that
the
loophole
piece
in
of
there.
paper
I knew you were gonna get that
has
loophole.
nothing to
I've
do
driven with her
her
grandmother
ability
on
to
highways,
drive.
byways, and everything. She knew how to fucking drive when I met her.
Exactly.
But my point is, when she got
didn't have that
older,
same piece
her
of paper
eyes
that you
started
motivated
going and
she
shit like that, and she took herself off the road because she wound up hitting a little boy who was riding his bike. That could have been much worse. You feel what I'm saying? It's not the point. The point is, it could have been much worse, and she thankfully had the self-awareness to say, I shouldn't be driving because I didn't even see that fucking kid at all.
Well, I honestly.
So my point is, when you get to a certain age, yes, you should have to retake it.
Well, see, I honestly
come
think
on.
it should be a collaborated system where, because the people who's going to know that is you, and most people, honestly, they're not going to fess up to that.
Of course.
But your doctors will know that. Your eye doctor knows whether or not your eyes are bad.
I mean, they make you take an eye test. She failed the eye test. As I say, she never had the paperwork. She
But
never
see,
had the paperwork. They
here's
do
the
give
thing.
you an
But
eye
she
test.
only had to take the eye test
If
because
she
she was trying to
failed
get her
that
permit again. If she already had her license, she wouldn't have had to take no eye test.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do
Okay.
agree that at a certain age, because you'll see older people drive a different way, a different speed and everything than young people.
Yes.
And it comes to a thing of
That's
they taking their time, they're
That's
cruising.
called
They
discrimination.
outdated.
That's
It's
called
not- it's-
age discrimination.
it's
It's
not-
It's called
illegal
being
in
outdated.
every
Them niggas
industry.
need an upgrade.
No, that's not it. It's
Your
not that-
computer
it's
too
not-
slow. You driving too slow.
What you're describing is
This how we drove in the
age
80s and 90s.
discrimination.
In 2020, we go a little bit faster, bitch.
No, it's
I
not
need you to
that.
put your foot on the gas.
Why you calling old people bitches?
That's not it. That's not it. I honestly do feel this is that they do need, they
I
need
understand
more
why
time.
you're angry. Now I understand. I get it.
But
I
you don't,
get
but
it.
you don't
I
deny
get
that
it.
he's angry.
Look, I see why you're angry.
Okay,
All
guy.
right? Blink twice.
Oh,
Blink
really?
twice.
Oh, really?
I'm not angry. I just sensible laws. I think we have to come up with just laws that make fucking sense. Gun law. We need to start on guns. The gun laws in a lot of states don't make sense. I'm from New York, and as much as I wanted a gun in New York, I appreciate the fact that they do have. They're way more than sensible, right? I think they can ease up a little bit in New York, but. If I had to choose between New York and South Carolina, if I'm a citizen where I feel more comfortable in New York than I would in South Carolina because I feel like every nut job has a gun in South Carolina. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of nut jobs. And all the white people are racist. I don't like racist people with guns.
I'm not gonna say all white people are racist.
In South Carolina, I haven't. Not all white people, but in South Carolina specifically.
Nigga said
Those
fuck every other
motherfuckers is
state.
racist.
He said fuck every other. In South Carolina,